Hello, everyone. So in this occasion, we're going to talk about ways to avoid plagiarism. And before we discuss some tips to avoid plagiarism, I'm going to tell you some goals of this meeting or the goals of our discussion today. And in the end of this discussion or in the end of this meeting, you are expected to be able to differentiate between facts and also opinion. And then number two is to identify various types of plagiarism. Number three is to use sources, can be from newspaper or journal, to avoid plagiarism. And the last one is to summarize and paraphrase texts to avoid plagiarism. Before we have further discussion, I have one important question. We're going to find out first the meaning of plagiarism. In your opinion, what does it mean by plagiarism? Any idea? Anyone, maybe? Yeah, I do believe that most of you understand what is the meaning of this word or this term. However, maybe not most of you who are aware and also know and familiar in ways and how to avoid it. So we are going to try to see some definitions of plagiarism. So let's start by understanding the concept of plagiarism itself. Basically, plagiarism is the intellectual theft. So you use others' words, others' sentences, or others' ideas and use them as your own without writing down the original writer, without writing down the original source. Plagiarism can take many forms, from deliberate cheating to accidentally copying from a source without acknowledgement, or even copying or accidentally copying your own writing. So consequently, whenever you use the words or the ideas of another person in your work, you must acknowledge where they came from. And it is essential to know what plagiarism is and what form it takes, as well as how it happens. So the final step is to develop effective academic skills. Many students who plagiarize do not so unintentionally, often because they do not have the academic skills to avoid over-reliance on the work of others, or because they are not sure what constitutes plagiarism. So it is important to take every opportunity to develop your academic skills. In other words, plagiarism is a breach of academic integrity. It is a principle of intellectual honesty that all members of the academic community, not only researchers, not only lecturers, but also students, they must acknowledge their debt to the writers, to the originators of the ideas, the words, and the data which form the basis for their own work. And passing off another's work as your own is not only poor scholarship, but it means that you have failed to complete the learning processes. It is also unethical. So when you, even when you use an application or maybe AI, ChatGPT in your writing exercises, it is unethical. There are for some reasons. For example, first one, it is unethical because you take the ideas and the words of others, or maybe take the sentences or maybe paragraphs from AI and pretending that they are your own. It means that you are stealing someone else's intellectual property. It means that you become dishonest to yourself. Secondly, it is unethical because the plagiarizer subsequently benefits from this step, from this action. And thirdly, A degree is evidence of its holder's abilities and also knowledge. And if a student gains maybe good score or even employment on the basis of a qualification that they have not earned, actually that they have already steal from other sources, then they may be a risk to others. And your most important investment is actually yourself, your creativity, your writing creativity. So if you plagiarize or if you use the sentences, words, or even paragraphs from the AI, or maybe what is most popular nowadays, ChatGPT, it means that you are cheating yourself. And you don't learn anything when you do that thing, when you plagiarize or when you just copy paste the word from the AI writing machine, for example. And finally, it is also prevents you from the process in establishing your ideas, establishing your writing skill on a certain topic. So why actually this thing may occur? Why does plagiarism occur? First is that the lack of knowledge and skills. The students do not know the procedures, the correct procedures, or the way to cite and the way to paraphrase correctly. Number two, there is a feeling of insecurity and also lack of preparation. Students take others' work because they didn't put the effort into learning the material, or they want to sound more impressive. So they take the risk to copy and paste other sources without an acknowledgement. Number three is developmental issue or issues. Students here, they do not perceive what they are doing as unethical. So there is an important issue that must be stopped. In education, even in maybe when you do a task or an exercise, a writing exercise, it doesn't matter if plagiarism was intentional or not. Plagiarism is plagiarism, even though it is intentionally or unintentionally. The consequences are the same. So in my class, you will get automatically 0. So sometimes you mention or student mentions that they forget to write the source, or maybe when they think that this is my own writing from different subject or from different published journal or essay, so it doesn't matter with that. But what is more important here, that even though it was an accident, but it is also something that is called as self-plagiarism. So an author, they publishing their own previously written work and presenting it as new writing work without referencing the earlier work, either in its entirety or partially. In other words, you can say that it is recycling or maybe duplication, multiple submissions of research findings, and without any disclosure or acknowledgement. And reusing all maybe parts or even a body of work that has already been submitted for an assessment or maybe for a journal without any proper citation is called as similar plagiarism. Here, there are so many reasons to avoid plagiarism. Why should you avoid plagiarism? First is that because you have come to university, you have become the college student. You learn to know and speak your own mind, not merely to reproduce the opinions of others, or at least not without attribution. So you have to avoid plagiarism because you aspire to produce work of the highest quality. At first, it may seem very difficult to develop your own views, and you will probably find yourself paraphrasing the writings of others as you attempt to understand and also assimilate their arguments. And however, it is important that you learn to develop your own voice. You are not necessarily expected to become an original thinker, but you are expected to be an independent one by learning the access, then learning critically, and then try to develop your argument and also draw your own conclusions. And conducting plagiarism, students, they have actually avoiding an essential part of the learning process. So you have to avoid plagiarism because you need to grasp the principles of source by using citation, and you should find it relatively straightforward to steer clear of plagiarism. Moreover, you can get the benefits of improvements to both the acidity and the quality of your writing. You need to appreciate that mastery of the techniques of academic writing. So in this occasion, I will show you how to make the in-text citation properly and correctly. Number 2, does it mean that I shouldn't use the work of the authors? Actually, it is vital that in your writing, in the intellectual writing and debates, you need to borrow others' writing, others' idea to support your argument. So as it is mentioned in the slides, academic essays almost always involve the use and the discussion of material written by others. And you need to give credits to the author of the ideas and the observations that you cite. You need to give the credits because this does not only the recognition of their work, but it also helps you to strengthen your argument by making clear the basis on which you make it. Moreover, good citation practice will give you the good opportunity and also will give your readers the opportunity to follow up your references and then check the validity of the interpretation and find that actually this writing is worth reading. Here I have the example of the original text and the plagiarism that is done by one writer. Please read the original text and please try to compare the plagiarized work. Here is actually the result. So there is no many different. Okay. The quotations also can be found in the plagiarized work. Quotation when taking notes and also resulting into many of them in the final research paper. Almost exactly the same. Only about 10% of the final copy should consist of directly quoted material. When you take a look at the different color, you will find that those words or sentences mostly can be found in the original texts. So what you need to do in order to try to minimize plagiarism, you need to learn how to cite and quote and also paraphrase the original text into a new sentence or sentences. Here, we are going to try to see the steps and how to avoid the issue. First, how to differentiate facts and opinions. There are examples in the left side and in the right side. Please try to take a look at the examples and try to differentiate between facts and opinion. Facts are actually statements that can be proven, and facts may be true or false. And the examples are the first three examples on the left side. Opinions are the statements that cannot be proven. So it's hard to find the proof because opinion maybe cannot be supported by facts. And usually it is individuals' reaction or opinion about something. For example, math is the hardest subject, maybe for some people, but maybe for me, math is the easiest subject, or for you, math is a piece of cake, so it is not the hardest subject. Okay, let's try to do this exercise. I want you to stop this section and then try to differentiate between facts and opinions. Take a look at the picture and try to analyze it. In your opinion, what makes the statements facts or opinion? And how to tell the difference? After we have done with the previous exercise, the next exercise will be related to these 10 statements. And I want you to analyze these statements and decide which one is the facts and which one is the opinion. And if you have done, you can move on to the next slide. After you have understood the difference between facts and opinion, we can move on to some ways to avoid plagiarism by using citation and also quotation. To avoid plagiarism is actually easy to do, that you have already had the foundation or foundational understanding of what is plagiarism. And in your writing, you can also cite and quote others' work or others' result or research result. I'm going to start our discussion with the first discussion about citing. So citing is to cite a source means to give credits for the original source of information, or maybe an idea or way of articulating an idea. We're using APA 7th edition citation style. It is also used in the undergraduate thesis. So you can also check the detail of APA 7th edition in Write Your Academic Essay book, page 119. This is some examples for in-text citation of the APA style. In-text means that the citation can be found inside your essay. So it will be different with the references. In scholarly writing, it is essential to acknowledge how others contributed to your work. And by following the principles of proper citation, writers ensure that readers understand their contribution in the context of the existing literature, how they are building on and critically examining or engaging the work that has come before. There are some ways to cite and also inform your readers the source where you took the information. In-text citation should immediately follow the title and then word or phrase to which they are directly relevant, rather than appearing at the end of long clauses or sentences. These are the examples of using in-text citation. Number one is called as direct quotation. So for direct quotation of more than 40 words, you need to display the quote as an indented block of text without quotation mark and include the author's names, year, and also page number in parentheses at the end of the quote. And then number two, author's name is part of the narrative. Number three, author's name in parentheses. So you can see that this is the author's name is in the parentheses in the number three, and number two, author's name is part of narrative. I want you to conduct the exercise. So please try to make an in-text quotation. So go to the book. You can try to learn some ways to cite the sentence or sentences from the Write Your Academic Essay book, and then try to cite this line. The line is The Wonderful World of Worms by Katie Keller and published by Brand X Books in 1972. And this is the sentence that you need to quote. All right, this is the result of the quotation by using APA style. So the result of the quotation will be quotation mark. This is the line or the sentence. Once upon a time, there lived a wriggling worm named Wally, and then quotation mark, followed by the name of the writer, the last name, and then the year, and also the page. You can find the detail of the information in the previous slide, just like this, and then this is the result. Okay, so after you have tried to cite a very short source from one book, so I will give you the opportunity to cite a journal article from Joel. So please go to this website. It is e-journal of our English Letters department. And I want you to find one random online article and then choose 3 interesting or important points, or maybe parts or paragraphs from the article. And then try to create your in-text citation by following the rules. These are the rules. Let me go back to the previous slides. So there are 3 rules. The first one is direct quotation, and then the second one is using the author's name as part of narrative, and then using the author's name in parentheses. You can pause this video and then go to the website and choose one random online article from Joel, and then find 3 interesting or important points or parts or maybe paragraphs from the article and create their in-text citation. Okay, after you have done with the in-text citation from Journal of Language and Literature from Joel, I want you to write down the result of the quotation or the in-text citation in the LMS. So please check your LMS to find the place where you can write down the in-text citation. Thank you.